Hello, what's up my dudes? So for today's video, we're going to talk about the basics of sanding, specifically what grits to use in woodworking. So the first thing to note in sanding is the grit. So ano nga ba ang grit? So ang grit ang pag magaling ka. Like, wow, you're so great. Great job! Joke lang. So ang grit is what separates each sandpaper with each other. The lower the number, the more abrasive the grit. The higher the number, the smoother the grit. So there are 60, 80, 120, 180, 220, 240, 400, 600, 1000, 1500, 10,000, and many more. Luckily, in woodworking, we only need to focus on at least three. Some go 4, 5, but the basics, at least 3 grits of sandpaper. Well, actually, I use 4. So, but mainly, it's the 120 grit, the 180 grit, 240, and 400. I go to 400 for that extra. Yeah. First, the 120 grit. 120 grit. So the 120 grit, if this is the grit of your choice, you have choices of 80 grit, 100 grit. But for the rough grit, I choose 120 since it is rough enough and smooth enough for, I already have one, rough enough and smooth enough to do the job. Basically, you use the low grits like 120, 80 to 120 for your first pass when sanding your piece. This will remove rough spots. This will remove uneven areas or your planar marks, like so. Yo, wait. There. And pencil marks. So,
on this stage, when you are going to sand on low grits such as 120, you will want to take your time, very thoroughly go through the whole piece with your 120, making sure you get all those rough spots, those rough edges.
The low grit sandpaper is rough enough to remove these burn marks. The higher grit like 150, 180 will take more time. So this is the first this is the grit to use to remove such burn marks, as well as saw blade marks around the edges of your feet. So there are no more burn marks. It is also used to remove tear outs such as these. So you just run them through. No more tear out. And it's also used in softening the edges of your piece. So these are sharp edges where you could wound yourself easily. Your 120 grit can fix that. Next is the 180 one. This one. Can't get focus. There. 180. So the 180 grit sandpaper is used for further smoothening your piece. And you will stop here at 180 when you're going to apply stain or gonna finish with polyurethane. Because if you go over 180, your stain will not adhere enough. It will not adhere properly to your wood. So that's it. We're going to sand this piece with 180 grit.
So on this stage, you need not to be very thorough, you need not to take long on this stage, since you already sanded down the rough edges and rough areas with your 120. You just need to smoothen out what your 120 left.
So next, after the 180, since I'm going to finish this with oil, I'm going to do an oil finish on this. I'm going to take it further to 240 grit. This will make this piece super smooth and very nice to the touch. It will have a more professional feel and look, and I'm sure whoever's gonna have this will greatly appreciate that you went to 240 grit. So, yep, let's go.
So here, as I said, this is not anymore for correcting rough edges or sanding down material. This is just strictly for smoothing and refining. So just one pass will do.
Since I'm going to do an oil finish and I've already reached 240 grit, a special step that I would like to take is to take it up to 400 grit. The reason why, because it will give an even smoother finish. I know some of you are gonna debate me on this, but in my experience, this is the key to a great final product, a very nice feel, nice to the touch, and yes, a very professional look. And you and your customers, your clients, whoever you're gonna give this to, will like it. So let's go.
This won't take much time, so mabilis lang to. So yeah, bye!
So there, basically that's it for sanding. This piece is a very smooth piece. This is going to be a tabletop and it will have a very nice finish. I'm going to finish this with oil, and I'll do it in a separate video on how to apply oil, how to do a finish with oil. And yep, the last thing is what to sand with. So basically, you saw me the whole video using this random orbital sander. This is Lotus's random orbital sander. This is a workhorse in the shop. This is your main man. You're gonna use this for all your projects. Basically, the random orbital sander, in its name, it's random and orbital. Basically, it not only spins, but it spins and random, I don't know, orbits in random directions. So sander is your best choice for sanding material or sanding your projects. There are many more sanders: the finish sander, the palm sander, the square one, a belt sander, oscillating sander, what else? Spindle sander. All those sanders are very important and have their own use, but this it will be very worth it in your shop. So yep, that's it. I hope you liked the video. Hit the like and subscribe if I've earned it. Comment down below what you think. If you have any comments or suggestions or final reactions or your own way of sanding, please comment down. Feel free, and see you in the next one. Bye. And I forgot one more thing on sanding is safety. In sanding, number one priority is to protect yourself, your lungs. So have a mask. Wear a mask at all times when sanding. Those small particles will get in your lungs and it will not feel good. Yes, so always have a mask. These KN95s from Lotus are very effective in protecting you from small particles such as wood dust, sanding dust, whatever you want to call it. And it is very light, easy on the ears, and yeah, it doesn't have to be this mask. You can wear any mask as long as it will protect you from the small particles. Safety from the sander, basically this is one of the safest tools in your shop. Sanding your hand won't be an issue. That won't hurt that much. Just don't sand your hand for a long time. So this is one of the safest tools in the shop. You won't get wounded easily, but don't take it for granted. Always stay clear pa rin. Don't sand your hand, please. Yep. So that's it. See you in the next one. Bye.